Is there anyone that can help me with reality? Let me talk about my behaviour. For 3 years, I've been, in a sense, exiled because I can't get social services that I need. I needed support after a post on Facebook that I'm being bullied. I've had Kylie and Mum say that I was bullied in my past. But they are always lying about things. Like both my mum and her and Jodie and my sisters said there was a lot of fake friends online bullying me about the way I looked. And Jodie cried. Marina cried. Marina, both of my sisters both said your friends are very fake and have used us for the business. And she said, Jodie was just like, oh, they're just bullying you because your face went really white from the mold toxicity because it takes your immunity out. But I got gassed and I had lead poisoning and I had arsenic poisoning. So while the people made a massive thing, it was actually a snuff photograph of my face. It had been, the forehead of me kind of went really high and it's really weird because my face went really, really long and skinny. It doesn't look like what it does now. It went really long and skinny and it looked like had this massive alien head. And as I healed, I had massive purple welts in my eyes. Um, I just want you to know before the events have happened, I had a liberal mind, but I'm in a complex situation trying to dissect myself because I'm like, well, who am I if these people are saying I'm this? And, it's very weird because it's like if I read about what liberal is, most of the time I was like that, but there was structure in my life around work. I didn't, I had traditions and I had rules and rituals. So, I mean, overall, I wasn't a complete liberal person that was fluid. I had structure. I went to work every day. I had a routine. I had to write lists down. I had steady goals that I was always working towards. And I never had other people breathing down my neck like all these government officials for 7 years till now, finding out who I am as a person. And it's really weird. Um, this is to clear my name and my behavior, right? So I've skitsed out a couple of times very upset because I'm very upset about John and Nadia and this Tiffany company and dragging me in that. But to be honest, I think the evil comes from these white women that have done something to my vagina. Now, don't correct me if it's not them. If it's the black family, correct me. If it's a black family, I mean, I'm not prejudiced against any of these people, like where I think it's to do with their skin color who's the evil. This is about greed. Um, this is about jealousy. Um, and I've had a very difficult path with jealousy because I don't feel jealousy that much. So I don't see it. To know somebody, you need to know yourself. So for some reason, for years, I don't really feel, I think I get jealous, but I don't know. I don't really I don't, I don't think I do about anything. I maybe in my family, like about getting time with people, but most of the time I don't really. Well, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to really think about my past relationships. I don't really feel like when we were ending things, I got jealous, like of their new girlfriends and things like that. I might have got like angry if I wasn't like treat fairly about something in the end, or upset. But I don't know. So anyway, um, why was I saying that? because I've been framed as this jealous woman, this jealous ex, and I'm, I'm not a jealous ex. I'm in a situation. I've been buried and I've got to leave, and it's more scarier than you would understand. It's like I just got kind of taken out of my home like a war prisoner and told very little and put on a plane trying to do an organized list about support systems and working at home and going to work and income. And I heard Narita say all of my friends are saying I'm a weirdo, and they had a funeral for me, and she just basically kicked me out of my own heritage. So that means there's people working against me. I'm not paranoid because I could not get any access. Plus, there was Facebook posts creating a lot of hatred, which is anti-Semitism, and saying, I hope your fat ass doesn't hit you on the way out. And when I go back through my notes, there's 3 years of this stuff. So I forgive me for my patience running very thin, and I don't know. I'm just starting to realize that me reacting in emotional pain and suffering is actually, people are getting misguided that I'm actually some nutcase that's got conspiracy theories and I'm insanely jealous and that's why I'm acting this way. No, I've had 3 years of an endurance of a civil war. Now, why? Let's talk about civil war. Civil war is a case where they had a regime, an Iranian regime, and they started to lock my conscience up, like my morals, my values, my belief systems, and made me a dark, bad character. That, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just talking. I'm not reading from any journalist stuff, and I don't have a big investigation going on, and I haven't written notes, and I haven't written an essay about it. I don't have references to claim what I'm saying is true. Like I've read that there's an Iranian regime, and I've read that there was a Hamas festival, and I got raped. And I've had mutilation downstairs, and I think they mutilated me long before I knew what had happened to me. Because I thought it was recently in a tent, but due to what had happened and due to people have sent me things that it makes me feel like I got it happened a long time ago with the Cambodian and Thailand prison down in Christchurch. There's different prisons, I think, up in here. The French and the Americans took over Auckland, and I think down south is the Chinese, and Cambodian, and as I've got to leave this country, and I'm in humanitarian law, like we have a right to be protected during torture. And I've been really, really tortured. My values are to have a steady relationship, and I wanted a family, and I've been grieving this. I've been grieving the loss of Darren. I've been grieving the loss of Leanne. I've been grieving the loss of my sisters, and I've been grieving the loss of... So I'm not grieving my friend Leanne. Do you know why? Because in my time of knowing her, I've seen her fight alcohol, not even fight it. She's a full-blown alcoholic, and when she becomes alcoholic, she is somebody else. And it's very hard to try and tell you. I don't want heaps of backlash out of this. I'm just saying a perception of mine. I'm not trying to make her look bad. I'm just saying it's a perception. I just feel like she gets drunk and very much says whatever she wants to say. And like, it's just a nightmare. I feel like this person with these agendas has just fueled people up with a lot of alcohol, and they're just saying whatever they want to say on the internet. And it's just kind of like I've just been under siege for so long of this chaos. And it's cruel because I'll tell you why it's hard for me is I'm under siege of these people that love chaos, and I like structure, quiet and peace and harmony, and I feel out of control. I feel like ever since this has happened, they want to create all this enemies online. They want to create my whole heritage to hate me and see me in a negative light, and have kind of barricaded the people in the city so I cannot stand up for myself. So it was never a democracy, it was like a tyrannical situation where I was driven out by all this hatred, and I never got to say anything. Instead, when the time I was in New Zealand was I had left Australian in another bad situation. So I'm having problems in both Australia and New Zealand, and that's why I needed international humanitarian support. And I think there's a crime with immigration when it comes to these girls using me to be an immigration star. And I'm asking for some help, for some research into the historical abuse and the genocide that's been done from Cambodia and Thailand, the sexual slavery and the erasure of my good status in life, because I have a lot of references. I have a really good character, especially during my design days, but I do have a good character reference from the lady that I did the cooking with, and I think they might have gone to see her and poisoned her. This is what they do, and this is where I'm telling you it's corrupt, because I tried to leave the situation and they're sowing my life to this negativity wherever I go, which is gang stalking, which is highly a federal, I think it's a federal offence. So I went out to the farm. What's it called? Past Manukau, I went out and lived out on a farm, and these people came and connected all this narrative to people out on a farm, which is about a 2-hour drive out of Manukau. Oh, I can't remember the area. It starts with W. It's a really nice town. I can't remember what it's called. That's the kind of home, or that's the kind of life I like living out in a country kind of house and having sort of animals. And like I've had a lot of friends that lived on farms, and I just like that peaceful life. Even Della Marie had a home like that. So what I'm saying is it's tormented me. They started a narrative online and all this chaos, and I'm saying I went out to the country to find peace, and they followed me out there calling me the ugly dud ex, the lady Susanna. And she said at the start to talk to me to get a good character, and then in the end it was like the Australians had come in and poisoned her and told her I was some sarcastic, negative, toxic person to make sure that Wednesday Addams had a home in this country. So I left it. That every time I get close to somebody, this is what this organization and these gangsters do, but they're cracking my voice like I'm a liar. So I don't know what to do anymore, because they're really stopping me having solutions, and they're really chaining me illegally, these house angels and these other muscles of the killer bees. So in that time, I didn't know. I went back to my Melvin and gave him his car back, and I'd gone. He just said, like, what's going on? And I said, I can't get anything done in Christchurch. They're calling me crazy. And I said, and he just basically said that I need to not stay in the park because the police are running a thing online. And I just said, where is it? And then he wouldn't elaborate. And so ever since then, I can't get any information out of my family. So I feel like that's why I feel like the police and the council have destroyed my family with a toilet video behind my back. This is 3 years ago. I want a historian to come and investigate. Some sort of journalist from The Guardian, some sort of journalist from, I don't know. There's a place called Mudrack. Oh, these are places I tried to contact, but for years I've had identity theft and they're stealing my mail, which is Graham and those girls, those blonde girls. So the thing is I can't get anything done. I can't get a job without my telephones being released from prison. And this is a stolen identity because they've been stealing my identity since Australia. Do you understand? And I just very simply, when I find a job, write lists out and go after them. And I've always been a soft hearted person, so I don't know why they're intending for the world to see me as rough, cold, and hard and trying to erase a heritage of doing healing work because she's invaded all of my counselors, these Chinese, to make the will of this nation of love. And I'm saying, can I please appeal? Because this is land disposition. It is stolen generations. The organization have illegally created an apartheid and a fence system to create me as a lesser human being and as an animal. And in this time of my illness, is so I'm trying to process so much pain, hurt, problems, and I am also terrified. I'm about to have to leave and be part of all this chaos, and I hate chaos. Like, I don't like that they've actually, behind my back, created, Graham and John, I think, have created a wealth investment plan, and they've gone all over the world. And with Brendan, with all this ambition, like basically all over the world, making these organizations behind my back while I'm still suffering from my trauma, from the loss. Like, first of all, they built a structure, or these structures, and created an apartheid down in Christchurch. I think it was India and maybe the UK and China just started um, this kind of apartheid where I was the spear wheel out of all these girls and basically the weed out of all these apples, and they just basically had stole my whole heritage by telling them all that I'm having a lot of mental health problems and then creating fascism of the beauty compared to somebody battered. And I never got to talk to anybody, and that was the pain of it. And it was like that Russian had a tight leash around me and just threw me into the mental hospital when I tried to speak out about it. And so I went up to the North Island to get a job, and I went out to that country, and they came and started bullying me that I'm a ugly ex and I'm an arrogant, egotistical woman, and the cops were bullying my face. God, it's so fucking sensitive. Like really nasty, like really cruel. And it's hard because I was sensitive to energy, and they're harassing me. This is complete harassment and hounding until I can't breathe, until I had to just sit there and learn helplessness, otherwise I was going to get beaten. Like, I'm emotionally being very much abused and violated all the time, and because I'm saying no, now he's violently attacking my vagina and made a book and all these videotapes that I've got a big mushroom. And the guys doing the gangster stuff, like, just said it was crime and punishment. And it's just like beyond greed. This guy is wickedly obsessed with taking me out. He wants to not make. He's basically working in groups to have me socially ostracized. He's using the media to make me ostracized. He's stopping all of my work, and I put some videos up of my diary. I'm always trying to find a job and making lists of what to do. But after all that traumatic events happened, I didn't know what to do. And so I went to Sweden to get asylum. And I think I've got given 2.5 grand from the government. They say that it's for some related costs, but I never applied for that. And the government wouldn't just give me that money. Like, there was no reason for them to just give me that money. But what is unique is right at that point of time, I was being persecuted. Like, from about 2022, they were having these crush arenas saying I'm so breathtaking and kind of bullying me about my woolen hat, that I'm a Jew and a gypsy. and the government was demonizing my face every day, and it was just kind of like I was being called an animal. Like, I don't know, it was kind of like this Australian and a New Zealand team or something like that. Like, they were telling me, because some of the Australians had saved me a couple of times, because of the bees had my mind so caught up in this psychological web of deceit that it was really hard and toxic to talk to anybody in Christchurch, because they really thought I was completely mentally ill. That's how crazy this brainwashing is. They use these radios. They had a crime podcast really sort of telling people I'm bad, and I think they had a court case that I'm a real whore. I don't know. This is like, I'm just telling you, these are people that I'd seen, and I wasn't so invested in what I these people had seen. I was too worried about how I was being treated. I was being treated horrifically, and cafes and stuff. I was being pushed out because I was deemed as a dull bludger. And this is the injustice and why it's called persecution. It's unfair treatment. So in this time, I don't get to breathe because the criminal gangs are going around with a book, keeping me at a low price, and changing my colours to dark. And it's a crime, because they're doing it behind my back, and they're showing scams of a van where I'm really angry. And that's a crime in itself. That was trespass. Their findings of who I am as a person was illegal ways of wiretapping and doing spyware to find out my network. I think France and India did a lot of crime against me, like a lot of networking stuff into my phones and wiretapping and illegal things. And I can't function. I just went through all this therapy of years and years to make sure my life was mindful and calm and peaceful, and I've just got this crazy thing going on and I'm in a completely different world to you, because I've just been sitting trying to keep the peace at home and talking, and I'm hated online. So you think I know what's going on? I don't. I think maybe that's why I'm being blocked from some of my emails, because they're firewalling all the negativity. I don't know. I'm actually ripped out of the universe. Like, they just sort of have shadow banned me. And I've read that, I thought shadow banning was just some sort of, I thought cancelling and shadow banning was like blackballing and blacklisting. I found out today that, or the other day, that that's actually like a political thing. It's tied politically, all those kind of things, and it's really weird. Like, I didn't know that. I thought it was just like, if you had some powerful like producer that didn't like you, I thought he could just go and tell all these networks to not engage with you anymore. But it actually is a real political agenda. I think I wrote a whole lot of keywords about political violence and oppression, and I have really experienced all of it. And I'm asking myself, why am I a political prisoner of consciousness? And I think I'm being persecuted over divine love. And because I was like a mother, my family, like lineage, is about, my mum always wears Kuan Yin. Now, she's the Chinese Mother Mary, and Mother Mary was my kind of, I don't know, she was my kind of idol that I idolized. I don't know about this whole religion, Jesus, idols. I don't, I don't really have this ingrained belief like idolizing people is bad and this and that. I liked the archetype of the Mother Mary, because I always had compassion for people. And I feel like part of my journey was helping lost souls feel mothered, and I had been remothered. It's a big part of it's even in my astrology. I've got a wound, my mother wound, and I've spent a lot of time healing other people's family issues and things like this to mother them. And it's terrible what happened to me, and So I've been completely been kicked out of that group, but it's like, how do you prove persecution? It's like nobody else has seen what I've seen, it's only me. And they're erasing evidence left, right, and centre because the government's in a totalitarian state and they've got a huge, I think they're watching me all the time to make sure I'm not going to do anything like to expose them or something. I don't know why they do it, to be honest. I really don't even know why I got pulled into this mess. I think somebody in the celebrity culture did a like some sort of woke culture kind of like short and said that my ex's wife used me politically to make a lot of money out of me and I just got executed. And I think they're trying to say it's the blonde girls. They just totally just used me and my name to make themselves really popular and famous. And I just got scapegoated. It's all unfair because what I'm saying is the ethics of this, if we want to talk really legally about what happened, it's really unethical because me as a healer and somebody that has to I've worked with people that need support when they're vulnerable. I was a vulnerable person on paper because I've had abuse and I had my face disfigured. I didn't have my strength of character anymore. I'd been a battered woman in a sense. Like I'd healed, but it was still raw. It was only about a year fresh healed. Only about a year into it and they put me through this again and again and again. So they started these Ponzi schemes of church down in Christchurch, and then I just kind of got outcasted, and then I went up to the North Island to get this job, and I was doing, and I think the Samoan girls were kind of breaking the aid off me by illegal spyware and things like this, and they were blocking me like achieving or getting goals done. And I've got it in my book and I can see so much work put into having a creative happy future, doing jewelry making. I even went for all these jobs at print making, screen printing. I've actually worked at a screen printing place before. I've actually worked at quite a few places in my life. That's why I only like work for about a year and a half or 2 years because I've ever since I've stopped design, I've never felt really like completely like I knew what I wanted out of life. That's why I went on this massive travel thing to find out what happiness was, and that's why I dated all these men because I wanted to find out what a good man was, and then when I finally did, and then I went and talked to people that were really like skilled in things, and that's why I thought in the end maybe I should be a journalist because I like to investigate things and I go hands on and try and find out and talk to many people to ask all these opinions about things. So, and even I had a Craig, my old chef. We used to always have these like kind of discussions, like investigating things, and it made work really fun. Like we used to investigate different things. So he taught me about the food and how the lifespan's a lot bigger down in Invercargill because they're doing everything like with the old-fashioned way with the soil, and all the vegetables are growing, taking their time growing the natural way and absorbing all the minerals like the copper and the magnesium and these things. And these things are kind of leached out of our soil and our foods nowadays, these mass manufactured things. And his belief is that the reason their lifespan is so long down in Invercargill is because of the food, because they're growing things from scratch, they're eating their food like wild, like the animals and things like this. So, and that's, and I started watching lots of Gordon Ramsay at that time, and he's got I think he had a channel about like all of this farm to plate. Is that him? There was some chef doing a farm to plate, and it was really interesting, like how they get all the source of the food and things like this. So I loved all these kind of things, and I had just a normal happy life, and I think it was kind of like a balanced. I like having a balanced life, and this is extreme chaos, and I don't know how to fix it. They've kind of behind my back, out of greed and torture, they've tortured me down south, and I think recently, behind my back, they just used me in some home. They told me I'm in a sanctuary to protect me, but they weren't. I got injected in that room. I had silver and poisons put into me. It was a tragedy. And they tied up my intestines, and then I think they just made her a superstar at the expense of abusing me. And I think this French government was using me in my home sick, just filming me like humiliating me in my bed. I think they might have taken my boobs out, and he's started this massive museum with the photos of me, and I'm asking for them to come down. I didn't have a BBL. My bum's fat because of my lineage, and apparently women that have fat asses live longer and they're more intelligent. So this is what I'm worried about, is that my stomach is, I've got a disease, and I don't put weight. My weight goes to my boobs and my bum, not my stomach. It doesn't. And my legs, it would go to my stomach and my legs last. Like, this is really why I'm being neglected. And these kids, there's some rich kids that I think they made money out of me putting me in a toilet, that keep leaving me information for me to understand things. Like, they left a court case saying that I need to tell people the government has kind of kidnapped me. Can you please relook at my files? I actually need asylum. I'm being neglected because the government did abuse me in this country, and they're trying to cover it up and making out that I've got snake eyes, and they just put me on some cancel culture, making me a massive, like, a hate target from all these trolls, that I'm a very dark energy and I'm evil and nasty, and I'm vindictive, and it's time I get karma. That's why I'm ugly now, because I'm bloody karmic, and I've caused all these problems for these people, and I'm finally getting karma because I'm ugly. Stuff like this was going on, and it was really hurtful, and it's really hurtful because I'm a real responsible person, and I don't know what to do anymore. I have to leave the country. It's like they've taken away my wealth. So behind my back, they basically used me in that house, and I think John and his girlfriend have framed me or something. That's what the Maori party said, and I was innocent. And I think the Chinese framed him or the Asians framed him because something happened to me in the house, and I don't know if it's Terry, Tony, or Teresa. Somebody starting with a T came into my room and did something like a SpongeBob thing in my house. And so Teresa is a madam from Australia that's really abusing me right now, and she's working with Ruth, who's also abusing me with apartheid. And then there's I've got a network of corruption, and I think that's why I'm a prisoner, because I've talked out about it. But the thing is, they don't give you any choice. What else am I meant to do? They've never let me have law after my face got ruined. So what I'm saying is, I want you to understand I'm actually a real victim. Ever since the beginning of this whole situation, they just ruined my face and have denied me justice. Like, they denied me equal rights in the court of law. There's some human rights you are not allowed to cause psychological damage. Like, I'm not disfigured, to a degree that most people are, but when you take my glasses off, you can see that I am, and it's torture for me. That's the thing. I don't think people understand how horrible they made my eyes and my skin. And, they tipped me off I had forever chemicals, these kids, and they tipped me off that I was, that those guys in Christchurch were basically pumping my home full of pathogens. The green guys, those clown guys, were pumping the pathogens. And I think it might be true, because there was mold growing in my lemons within 2 or 3 days, and it's not possible. I just don't think it's possible, because these lemons were just brand new. And same as a capsicum I bought in this house, I only had it for 2 days. Within 2 days, the whole inside's rotting. And I bought some medicine for my blood. Within the next day, it was full of chemicals. I went to take a sip and I was sick for 3 or 4 days and knocked out. So I want to protest about time, because I've been poisoned again and again and injected to erase time. And so I'm not just sleeping and being lazy. Somebody has really done a crime to me. And it's really hard, because it's like they're kind of locking up my consciousness in some prison underground. And I want to protest. I'm not, there's nothing wrong with me mentally. It's just because they've made me black out so many times, there's missing information. I think what happened, I got blacked out in Australia, and I believe it was the coffee, because I was drinking it and then I was blacking out. And I believe there was organised crime, because there was spit all out the front of the door. And I believe there's crime because I've got poisons in my colonoscopy over there. And I believe it's a crime because as soon as I started speaking out, they evicted me and my mother. That's how much power came down and punished us for me speaking out about the abuse. So the 7 just punished and got rid of me out of that house. Just like that, and erased my whole family, forced my mother into raping me online as a joke for $20. So this is where I'm saying violence suppression, because that is violence. Even if I was hot as and they were doing it, it's still rape. Do you understand? It doesn't matter whether you're ugly or thin or fat or skinny. If you're taking some girl's clothes off and sexually violating them, it's like this is going to impact my reputation when it comes to counselling. And that's why it shouldn't. I'm being abused by people in high corrupt places because I don't get a voice. I'm not getting my right to speak. I've been trying to get access to help for years. I've got videos of the community law not wanting to help me. All the social services won't help me. So it's not that I'm not in reality. They've just denied me a reality at all. Like, without somebody else to hear what happened to me, how can there be a reality? They're just basically a whole lot of people in charge, and it's coercive control. And coercive control is when one group of people are in fear and scared, and they're just sort of abiding by the rules of what these lawless officials are doing. And then there's one person that's on the outside with no rights and no access to everything I need. And so she stopped asylum claims, and she stopped me being a humanitarian, because they're blackmailing me with these tapes. And what I'm saying is what they've done is illegal though. It's intrusion upon seclusion, it's trespass, it's out of context. There's a story, when I got annoyed, there's all this information about the crown jewels being stolen and people being raped, all sorts of stuff. And they're also saying I got dragged around on Tiffany and on a Fleabag American Market. And I was like, I have got no one to ask for protection or help. They're just taking it off me. No matter who I ask, everybody's already in a massive organization and they won't help me. And I'm just saying, why would they build a whole empire with all of my friends? Why did Poppy take Sam? Why has she taken Lucy? Why has she taken all of my friends? How am I meant to ask anyone? They're all saying they're not my friend anymore. So who do I ask if they take my family off me? Who do I ask if they've taken the social service off me? You got to stop blaming the victim. And I am emotional, but I'm trying to tell you facts. I'm in a rational mind at the moment, and I'm not a vindictive. Maybe I am, in a relationship when I'm getting angry at a man. Most of my bad traits come out of a man, not really women. Because I'm in such a close relationship with them, and it's over time, and a lot of those emotions are really unconscious when I'm going through them. But in this case, no, I didn't know that they were building her to be these girls to be superstars, but now I do. They were creating these VIPs, and I was being outcast of this, and they basically destroyed my home, my habitat. They've traumatized me, leave me bleeding, and I'm saying the nation's ungrateful because these women, these icons and VIPs are hacking me and stealing information to make them easily gain information. They've been like all over the libraries. They were basically telling everybody I'm low worth, I'm low esteemed, I'm low trash for years, and I'm poor, I don't look like I'm anything great. These girls are special, and they're going around getting a democracy that these girls are way more special than me. And I'm just I feel like so exploited over a time when my face got disfigured as a victim of crime and abuse. So why did they exploit me during that time? They just kicked me out of my country, and then they keep putting me in a toilet everywhere, and it's like, so I've got dirty, filthy officials that are taking this money to make these girls superstars of my country. And I went overseas, so they went and destroyed me over there to be superstars over there. And it's like, when do I get my own identity? They've used and abused me, and it's gotten to a point where it's not like they became popular and famous. I've had grievous bodily harm. Like I think I've got HIV, and I can't prove it at the moment because my test is dubious. It all comes back in the hospital that I don't have HIV, but this test I did looked like I did. Like it had a very faint line, but it's disappeared now, so I don't know what to think. And I've basically been mutilated and forever chemicals. That was to make sure I'll never be pretty and famous, right? Yeah, so, and they've damaged my reputation to make sure I can't do a job, and I want to erase time because I want Japan to give me back my money about a time that I lost while you were trafficking me and making money out of me being ordinary on a bus that I'm nobody special, because my face got disfigured and I feel like it's very abusive and it's superficial. Like, well, somebody had been suffering, and it's very very immature. And I think, you want to take on these big leaderships of being an icon, but it's time you need to understand being a responsible human being about somebody that's suffering and gone through something. Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm so liberal and so easygoing usually, but when it comes to people's feelings and where they're at, it's not okay. And I'm the only one standing up for me, so I'm going to do it. And in Australia, there's organised crime over there too. They were changing me to low quality oil, these lions, just changing me to low quality and then kind of doing these voiceovers to make me somebody I'm not. So at the moment, this life isn't mine. Somebody else is controlling my body. I'm emotionally being abused. I'm being totally devalued. And it seems like this culture war is only about abusing and ruining my reputation and my face and disfiguring me, and they follow me. They harass me. They find home to home. They won't let me have peace. And I'm saying I did too many years of mindfulness. Of course, I'm a peaceful person. And I don't like, I like my time alone so that it's to re-center myself. There's so many things that go on in people's lives. Like I may get out of balance from a whole lot of negativity all day of somebody going, you're ugly, you're ugly, you're ugly. God, you're a dick. God, you're a dick. You absorb that like a sponge, and so I want to go home and try and process this crap. And now I want to move forward, and I want some help, and I can only move forward when we clean the collective up, because at this stage I'm under coercive control, and at this stage there's a lot of money involved, and at this stage it's too long that I've been denied any rights just to establish a new order and power and a new revolution of influence and new businesses here, new developments and property. Like, the whole thing has been used with my name, all of it, all this corruption, and to bring in these sex trafficking families and mafia families and establish their roots, and I just got erased just like that. And I'm here as somebody that got erased and destroyed. And so basically I read a lot of refugee books probably a year and a half ago. My brain's been a bit funny since about January, because I got injected and I'm tired and I've been abused and stuff, and I've slept a lot, and I've had missing time frames because of, I've kept a diary. I have, but there is probably about 5 months where I think I just stopped writing. Um, but they've also stolen my songs about the war, my feelings about my grief. And the feelings about making a massive wall of dog shit and a massive ceiling of dog shit to outcast me. Like, it was a lot of my feelings about this, and I've got a lot of genuine feelings. I've got a lot of emotions for people. I really do. Like, I'm really sad. I want to extend my love out to my family that have sacrificed a lot in my life, and I feel very a genuine, like, it's my family aren't like, what I love about my mum is she's not a real prideful person. I was a prideful person. When I grew up and I tried to keep myself together, I had quite a lot of pride before this abuse. But I don't think my mum does. She's quite she's humble about a lot of things. I think when women become mothers, they see a lot and they become more humble. Just like, Leanne's got a humble before she was like this mega hell on earth to me. She was quite a humble person, and I think it's because of having kids. Um, the sad thing is about Christchurch. I want to tell you about me growing up. It was such a wholesome place. We would go to Spencer Park for barbecues and go down to the beach and play on the flying foxes. We would go on little trips away to Little Ikaloa, to Queenstown, to Dunedin. I would spend my weekends with friends at arty, like looking at all these arty places and cafes. And I really like down south because it's cold, but the air from the beach and it's just such a modern young culture down there. And the thing I love about the south is it's got its innocence. Like up north, it doesn't have its innocence. It's really corrupt, a lot more corrupt up here than down. That's what I love about the charm and the innocence and the it's just a great place to develop your creativeness too. Like Leanne Miller, Adrian's sister, she's from Otago and she's like an amazing photographer now. But that's where she started, this humble. And I've gone to her house and I've gone to the grandfather's house, and it's such like weird Kiwi, like, she probably doesn't think this stuff because she's at work every day around really stylish people and doing her thing. But really, in the beginning, like, her house was like an old weatherboard house, and just like her uncle had this weird wood burner like oven, and we just used to sit around like buying these weird slices and trying all these coffees and going to all these different art festivals. And I think I used to always go to those Queenstown festivals. I had a really fun kind of life where it was a balance of study and family life and having time with my friends, going places. And I was popular, but I wasn't like a cheerleader popular. I was just pretty I had a good enough life. I was happy. And I didn't, my mum had a lot of we always had animals. We had frogs and cats and dogs, and we were always going to like zoos and farms. I loved all the animals all the time. So I really had big dreams. My mum watered this, and she put a lot of time into making me believe, I can do what I wanted in life. And I did achieve a lot in my short time of life. I really achieved in study. I achieved quite a lot. For my mum isn't that kind of background, like, so for me it is an achievement because I didn't get taught about any of this. And that's why I was attracted to people that had gone in the education system, because I wanted to understand how to do it properly. And they've kind of taken that from me. Like, they've taken away my right to have an education. They've taken away my right to have an email or anything. Like, they just took my life and silenced me and kept labouring me as very poor looking to the country for years. Like, all over the library, I was getting told I'm just ordinary. I just am a weed of society. Like, really. And it's like I've written to all the human rights groups and I just never get my letters. I'm just being stolen. It's really corrupt. Like, something could have been done for years and years, but they've just don't want to stop. They're not going to be happy till they kill me. That's how it feels, because they're not really giving me a life. I'm being institutionally abused and confined. My mum put a lot of beliefs about the community and looking after each other, and then I had a lot of beliefs about the community, about all the organisations, because I put time into understanding people's problems. And these organisations help, and it's horrible because I put a lot of time into being mature and supporting other people in their growth, and I grew a lot from the situation because when you're a kid and you're going through suffering or you're upset, you only think about your own world. And what I got kind of taught is to volunteer and go out there. So I started volunteering, and you start to understand other people have these sufferings too, or other people are going through problems too. And that's where empathy and compassion develops. And that's why I'm saying it's very sad I don't get to have... They've framed me as being a very nasty person when I wasn't. I was very compassionate because of the wisdom I'd gained through my own suffering and having to go and watch other people. Like, I've had to sit with old ladies while they're dying, and it was sad because it's just a part of life. There's nothing I can do to say, like, I've got a side of me that loves, like, I love being a hero and helping people, but you can't. They're dying. Like, what can you do? Like, it's a part of life. They're dying. There's nothing you can do. You can only be there and support them. So I just used to sit there and support them, and it made me very sad. Like, but it made me realize that I just think I developed a lot of empathy through doing these jobs because I had to understand a lot of people's suffering. I've had to clean people that are in wheelchairs and learn how to scrub their scrotum and underneath their balls and things like this. And when I was a young girl, I would be ringing up Leanne, like cracking up laughing, like, I can't do this job. This is weird. I can't. It's so weird. And we would just laugh about these things. But I don't know. So, I'm not saying I'm a work star, but I've definitely done so many jobs because I was like on this mission to find the meaning of life, and I had a real zest for life, and I love change. I love adventure. I love changing, and they're chaining me to all this personality, and it's my worst nightmare because I have a wanderlust identity. I love change. I love the same. Like, I like a steady home that's structured, that never changes. But I like to change the energy of things. So going traveling. That's why I like photography. I wanted to do investigative journalism. I started to have a passion for this because of this war, because they were confining me. They wouldn't let me have a home. Because of my healing journey, I wanted to do healing and help other people because I believe in it. But you need a home. And that's the thing. In that recipe of trying to make my life as a healer and help other people, I can't have it if I'm in a situation where I'm not going to stay healed. I'm abused, I'm left on the street, I'm not allowed. So it's like, fine, I'm going to be an investigative journalist because I can do that on the road, and I can write and I can research and all these things. But they just, any solution, they ruin it. So they just went on this mission. No, Barbie's way more prettier for our journalism. No, Kiki deserves it more because she's connected to all these VIPs. No, Nadia deserves it because she's been an intellectual since this time of date, and all of the friends are on her side, and that's how I've been treated. Like, I'm not allowed to move forward in any career. And it's sad for me because it's disabling my mind, and I'm somebody, I want to tell you, I started off washing dishes. and I got it's not been easy. So I had to wash dishes at a Chinese restaurant, and my this it's just like you're at a wall and you're smelling sweet and sour sauce being cooked. Have you ever smelled that? It's like huge vats of this vinegar burning, and it's like you want to vomit, and you're just sitting at this wall like trying to do your dishes, and you got all these Chinese harassing staff. Smile, smile, be happy. And it's like, I'm looking at a wall all day. What do you want from me? And it's like, I couldn't just do my job. I had to make all these people happy all the time. So that's what it's like. I've never had kind of extreme peace. So that's why I liked going home and having nobody to tell me anything to do. Because I've always had people kind of really controlling and trying to tell me how to act, how to feel, what to do. And it's annoying. Like, I just, like, that job, I did that job, and then I went into, I think I worked for Mum for a little bit, and then I went into graphic design. I went into Salvation Army, that's right. I left school, and I wanted to leave school at 16 because I had been truant, and I had been truant for like 26 days, which is half of a year. And my mum thought it was really hilarious. And I thought, okay, there's something wrong with my life because my mum thinks it's funny I haven't been at school and I'm not fitting in, so I might just try and find a course. So I went and found a course, and I just started learning all these courses at retail sales and commercial design, like creating concepts. And then we did upholstery, I made a couch, made it a cow skin. And then I did another course in communication. I think we had a compulsory baking course. I did a lot of courses at the beginning. They were very short, like about like maybe a year old or something like that. And, I was really cool. And then I went into graphic design, and I loved it. And I had all my stuff stolen, and the machines wiped out everything that was on our hard drives. There's like a backup system or something, and you'd put it into this file, but it backs it into this other computer system that wasn't your own computer, like a massive network memory bank type thing. I don't know what the real term is called. I think it's it's like a massive cloud, and it had all been wiped, and that was all of my work, and I'd lost the discs with all of my work, and I had to do this portfolio in about 3 months, and it was crazy, and I finished it, and I passed, and I was really happy, and I had a lot of fallouts from friends because they thought I was being arrogant because I was so disciplined to go to work. And so these girls getting in my face about discipline, it's like, yeah, well, sweetheart, I started off like very disciplined, and I got really abused by my friends about wanting to do better in my life, and I passed it, and I was really proud of myself, and I was felt like it made me have confidence to have a direction in my life, and people didn't like it. People don't like that you have a direction or you know what you want to do in your life, and they start pulling you down and tearing you down and saying you're arrogant, you're an asshole, you don't care about us, you never party anymore, you're just so selfish, you're this, you're that. And I got it all. I really got it all. And I just carried on. And I went to Wellington with Sandra, and apparently she's just like being a real nasty hoe to me, and she has no idea what I've been through. But that was a good time in my life in Wellington. We went out there and got a job, and I think I didn't get a job in design. I think it was really hard to crack the market when you were fresh, and she got into real estate and I got into photocopy centre or something like that. And it wasn't what I dreamed of. I was like, what? We just did that whole course and I'm on like a really crappy job doing like photocopying. I went home and I got a job at a business card design place. And if you want a job, tell them you'll work for free, because that's how I've got all of my jobs. All of my bosses, I've just walked in and I said, as a point of difference, I've just said to my boss, look, I really want this position. I'm willing to work for 2 weeks for free, and you train me up and tell me if you like how I do things in the end, or if you're happy with my with the results in the end of the trial. I've done it in all of my jobs, and I've always gotten my job. That's my secret, is that I always offer to work for free and just show them that I can do it, because I also, in that time, you're gaining information about the company, and you're also you're establishing a relationship, and it's a little bit more casual than actually being in an interview, and actually, because in that case you're actually offering a service, so then less likely to be so nitpicking about everything. And then also, because you're giving out goodwill, that person warms to you and thinks, oh, that's really generous. Fine, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with having 2 weeks for free, and that means I can train up somebody without having to pay them anything. So in that time, they train you up and you're doing it for free. But you're also learning about the company and establishing a relationship with a person. And that's how I've always ended up in a good job, because I've always been like, I'm serious. I want this job. I want to do the job. I will work for free. And I've always gotten a job. And I'm saying, even when I suffered from this anxiety issues that I had, and it was kind of like a spiritual awakening I was having. It wasn't just, I think it was a series of events that happened, and then my work became incredibly stressful and I couldn't cope anymore. The simplest things, like if somebody came in disgruntled, the simplest things became like a 10 out of 10 on a scale of stress for me. I couldn't cope. Like, I just would cry, or I'd be really upset. I'd have to avoid, and I couldn't cope anymore, and I had to go to a counsellor, because nobody had the skills to tell me what was going on with me, and I was having a spiritual awakening. It was a breakdown of all of my belief systems, everything that had happened to me. I just, so much broke down in my life, and I don't know if the universe had orchestrated that to let go of my past. But I'm just saying, this is not my first rodeo. I've had these things happen to me again and again, and I've had huge crises of extreme devastation and disasters. But what I haven't had is a man-made poverty one, and people in power abusing me for long periods of time. The police have definitely been abusing me for a very long time in Australia, all of my workplaces. And these cowboys with their bitcoins have been abusing my rights for a very long time. And I'm saying I want an investigative journalist to go back and look at the historical abuse, because I know I've done a lot of work. And so anyway, on top of that, so what I say, the Chinese, and then I went to my mum's, and then I went to design school, and I went to Wellington. It was not what I dreamed of. But I'm still following my dreams, right? I was inspired by life. I went off to find my dreams, and in that time I developed a really close relationship with Sandra, and I found out she's a lot more naughty than I realized. She was a lot more kinkier. She is a lot more out there. She's a lot more liberal minded than I believed she was. I thought she was quite a conservative person. She is really out there. She's actually, if you let that woman go out of her family and all that, she would be really out there. Really, transsexuals, everything. She was a real partier. Then I went back home. I had all these design jobs, and in the end, where did I end up? I saved all my money. I just went to work designing, spent my weekend at dance parties and meeting friends, and unfortunately there's a drug scene in that situation, and I dabbled in a little bit of it, not a lot. I wasn't heavily drugged up all the time. Maybe every I don't know, 6 months I would take an ecstasy tablet with my friend Anna. But I stopped that, she stopped that, and there was horrible things going on. They used to, everybody started taking these herbal things to make dance parties sort of like you're having a high, but it's herbal, so it's okay. But the synthetic drug of it, I think there's all these problems, because it's you take it and then you kind of you're taking, it's sort of like an upper or something, and then you're taking vodka. Like you'll sit at the bar and have like your vodka and orange, and you actually, so it's like you're like killing your body because it's like your body can't cope with the two hormones that was releasing. I think so. There one's a happy hormone and one's a downer. So it was kind of like your body, it would burn your body out and all your endocrine system. So that's, that's my social learning ground, is these people were all under this dance party. And that's when I started to, when I went to Darwin and I saw everybody's following Om, and then I realized people were actually being misled by the darkness in these dark dance parties. It was kind of weird to me, and I think that's when I just had this weird nervous breakdown, because I started to understand and see things in a real different perspective, and it was making me, at one point I felt sick too, because things that I used to do like unconsciously and to make me happy, I found it was my body must have been teaching me to reject this and to have a better quality of thinking in life. So I started purging my whole past, and that's when I spent 5 years alone, and I just found meaning in books and art, festival videos. And I was, I made, my friends were like really creative. Like back then, like Thomas was way different back then. Thomas was a Christian. Thomas used to be like those Jonas Brothers, and he was a Christian, and he had a very young face, and he still had his innocence. Like he sort of seems like a Paul Henry type guy now, but he wasn't like that back then. He had a real like innocent heart, and he was really very generous with his feelings and his emotions, and he's way different. Like he was way more emotional and caring back then. Then we went to, then after my design thing, I went into sales and Telstra marketing and selling books on the street, like those hospitality books. I've never had problems with the public. Like people were inviting me in because it was raining, like to have cup of teas and scones, and that's why I like my job. I always have weird, cool things happen to me. I love it. Like I just always have really cool, exciting, meet kind of interesting people, and that's what I miss about my life, is that without these chains, I would be like a wanderlust person, and I'd be doing a really crazy creative job. I'd be really happy, but they want me chained to a personality that I'm not, and that's why I feel suicidal. I don't want to be chained to being some like Somalian nigger negro that like is a trash person that pisses and poos on the street. I think I've been really misrepresented, and I've never had anyone support me in this whole situation for 3 or 4 years, and I haven't had anyone to help me, and I've got to keep moving. But it's like he's chained me and bound me to the devil and all these sex tapes, and I've got a little bit of proof about it. So I've heard it from my own ears that they were selling me as a 99-cent oyster, like really abusing me, sexually, violently keeping me here against my will. I don't have any rights when it comes to housing, when it comes to opportunities. So I am in an Israeli and Zionism situation because they don't allow me. They're making me racist all over the world. And I'm begging you for some understanding, is that I camped and I peed in the bush, and I'm thinking maybe they put this, like maybe they've filmed it and put it on a blue screen or so. I don't know what they've done, but I haven't like got all these pee bottles by my tent, and I didn't, I'm not like pooing in people's properties. Like I'm not doing that. Like that's weird, and I'm not. I just think in Christchurch I got totally martyred sexually, like, and violently, which is ethnic cleansing to make sure I can't have friends, which is France and these Asians. And what I'm saying is I feel like I'm in a mass trafficking ring because they've come to Australia as well. That's my mother. Now, my mother is actually a lot more innocent than she comes off, and I think that's why she's got like a Roseanne Barr kind of personality, to protect her, because everyone's got a protection. So I think hers is her funny attitude. And I just think that, she's a very innocent person. She does the right. This is why I'm upset, because we're both people that have done the right thing by people. We've done the right thing in society. My mum's done the right thing. She's always paying taxes, and she's always given and given out to all these refugees to help them get back on their feet. She's given and given to all of her staff. She's been a very generous boss, helping them get into new positions and helping train them up and teach them, and always feeding them for free at the end of the night. And so this generosity passed down to me, and my grandmother also used to give out baked beans at the end of the night. And my generosity is about putting time and healing people's emotions, and I would be doing it down at the beach at the dog park with people in the community all the time, and also in Lifeline and these volunteer centres. And so for them to just stop me having any emotional kindness in my life is such a tragedy, because it's my life. And I feel like gang stalking, I read, which I've been gang stalked and I've got proof about it, is about trying to chain you to looking like you're mentally ill and chaining you to an attitude that's not you. So I just feel like they harassed me and hounded me till I blew up, and then are trying to make out that I'm somebody else. But I'm just saying, while they're trying to teach the people that I'm low class and I look trash, I'm asking to see beyond the appearance. I was abused and left to suffer. And unethically, they keep using my appearance as some sort of persecution when I'm in Australia. Under the law, I'm disfigured. So I shouldn't be treated with such cruelty for such long periods of time, because these people want to build empires and keep using me as some dog, as some way, some twisted way to be famous in society. Like, they've really torn apart real big roots of what I put into my life. I put a lot of time into working. I can teach, I can train anybody to do a job. And I'm not taught these things. It's just I've been taught from the bosses myself, because I've offered to work for free. And that's exactly how you get a job. You go in and you ask them, do you want me to work for free? Because that's, if you're really enthusiastic about a job, you can get a job. But he's framing me as somebody not enthusiastic, but I didn't. I had a wanderlust for life. I loved life. I'm tired from sickness, and I'm not being seen to, and I'm being violently abused and subjugated. My landlord subjugated me for years, and it's like they've invested in wealth, and they're making sure all of my friends and family are part of that, and I'm not allowed any social inclusion. It's abuse. Do you know what I mean? You can't just cut me off from everything I know all at once and tell me to be a well-adjusted social person and inject me with all this chemicals to make sure I'm ugly. It's like, that's why I want to kill myself, because I was beautiful, I was independent, I had a lust for life, I loved finding happy things I loved following my dreams. But they don't see the things behind what I do. They don't see the time and energy into my foundation. They don't see the suffering behind it. That's why I had one of my heroes is Gordon Ramsay, is because I've read his book, and that's what life's like. You do suffer. You do have to go through a lot of times where you don't like things. I didn't just get into a happy position. There was sacrifices I made. There's been tears. There's been periods 5 years of isolation and alone. I didn't have people were jealous of me because of my mum, because she seemed like she was carefree, but they don't see that she was clipping our ears, and she would punish us if we didn't go to work. Me and my sisters would be vomiting, and she'd just give us this pill. I don't know what it was called, and it would make you stop vomiting, and she'd be just get over it, go to work. She does. My mum is so empathetic about so many things, but not work. She's got no empathy when it comes to work. Just you got to go. And I think what happened was in my life, because she had no empathy in it, and I had manifested sickness in my life because I hadn't because there were so many emotions that I couldn't process. And I think that's what happened. I manifested this anxiety and the stress disorder, and I had to go and learn what was going on, and I had to develop an understanding. And because my mum's been taught to not have empathy about work because her mum drove her like a slave, and so she thinks that this is normal, and so I had to go and learn from other people that it's not normal. So I'm not saying this to make her shamed. I'm saying it's an ancestral kind of like thing that's going on. But it's like these people are making me pay and pay and pay so much, and it's really tough. I just wanted my freedom, and they don't want that. They want to have all the accolades and the glory without having to do anything. And so I wanted to get my facelift, and they all like kicked me and made sure they looked beautiful before me. They all went and had nose jobs and had a facelift and all this stuff, and it's like I've been suffering because he wanted to make money off me, that pink lady, and Kiki and John and the Indians made, and what's his name? The bull, Graham and Reuben, they made these pubs. Outcasting me to publicise Kayla as a star. Oh, I just got kicked to the curb. It's like, it wouldn't matter if my name hadn't been involved, if I was still free to go to work, but they're blocking me going to work, and I'm saying I'd rather kill myself because there's something in me that needs direction. I can't just sit here with nothing to do, with no drive. Why am I not allowed to drive? He's given the driving seat to people like Jules and Leanne that don't have a drive to change their life or to find... I just got used for these guys because they don't want to pay money for the rest of their life. That's why they're executing me. It's at any cost I'm being abused, and it's because I've done a life of compassionate service. You think like the house has Buddha all around our house. Do you think that I'm coming from a place of being a real arsehole? Like, my mum's a pretty compassionate I'm just saying, you know why I say these things about my mum is because public perception is different from reality. So a lot of people probably just think she's hardball and like has a like funny, sarcastic kind of laugh and like personality like Roseanne Barr. But I know my mum, and she's a really sensitive person and really kind. Same as Anna. You listen to her talk, she doesn't even sound like she just sounds a bit hardball, and she's really dry. But she's actually got... I think you have to know her for quite a bit before she emotionally kind of opens up about her feelings. She does have a lot of emotions there. It's just, I don't know. She's just kind of like... I think people just have to go to work every day, so they just don't get right involved in their emotions, and they've got to do all these tasks every day, and people just sort of numb themselves and don't really take time to look in deeply why they're doing the things that they do. But I've had to. I think I've manifested sickness to have time on my butt to have to process what happened, and it's not something I wanted to do, but it's something I did do. But every time I get somewhere, someone's taking the fruit of my labour. And at this stage, I'm like, this has gone too far. These government officials have actually blocked my freedom to being happy for the rest of my life. They've blocked me from having a job. They've blocked my phones. And it's like, where's my stolen babies? Where's my stolen heritage? Where's my stolen honour? It's all gone, and why should I not be paid back? If you don't want to pay me back, they need to get together and ask for my right to die. Because for me, my natural disposition is to go to work or to find volunteer work or to be part of a community. And I've been outcasted and controlled and abused with this toilet video, and he won't let me have one friend. I don't know who the hell my landlord thinks he is, but I want my own friend. And same as... this black dragon guy. So I don't know who the hell he thinks he is. You can be government, but we still have a right to govern our own lives. I'm being abused. I shouldn't have to be abused, and I'm kept as lower class. My energy's kept as lower, and it's like anything I'm good at, he wants to keep me subjugated, and it's like I don't want to be. I was just a young girl that had a lust for life, and I've had a lot of experiences at work, and it was still teething session for me. Like, I wasn't completely finished my counselling, and I wasn't completely finished my photography, and I can't reach my potential with this guy And that's why I want to kill myself. I want the game to be over. I don't want to play anymore. All it is you're just a bunch of assholes abusing my reputation, my face, blackballing me, denying me the right to exist in any social situation, repressing my needs, dismantling my strong personality and the authenticity of it, and stripping parts of it away so it can never flourish. You're keeping me in a wheelchair, and that's what I don't want. I would rather die because it's going to cause me too much mental anguish because I love adventure and I can't keep living in a bed being sick. I don't want to. I want my right. It's like he's blocked all the way to make money. He's blocked my future dreams. He's destroyed my family, and I don't know what to do. I really don't. And I just think, like, it's just funny when I'm away from my sisters and my mum, because it's like, well, actually, mum, we don't really sit there and intellectually have a conversation about it. We don't, it's not really ingrained into us because we're a bunch of girls in a home being told what to do from a mum. But really, we're kind of similar in a way. Like, my sisters are really good at cooking. Like, they're foodies. I love cooking. We really like to communicate. My sisters are really good communicators like me. Like, there's actually a lot of love for me. I don't know how they feel, but I've got a lot of love for my sisters. Deep down, there's a lot of sensitivity and emotion, and I get very worried about my sisters. I very much fret over my sisters when I think something was bad going on. I don't really, I did not know that my middle sister felt like she's unloved or uncared for from us, and I really appreciate my sister Marina. I really do. Like, because she has created she is such a wonderful person if you have had suffering to re-establish you back into a group or to kind of make you feel connected again. As I think there was a time I've had a couple of times where I've had this spiritual enlightenment or whatever it's called, a dark night of the soul, and she's come in and kind of like, she's my sister, but she was mothering me, like, in a way, like, kind of helping me re-establish going for walking with my dog and meeting people through that way, like trying to she was very much like, I don't want you to be isolated, like, you need to keep and connecting to people. And this is, she brought the humanity part into it for me, and she is also a great communicator, an interesting person that has so much energy for the culture of life. Like, her, she's always traveling to some crazy place to eat and tried weird things, and she knows interesting things, and she's got a lot of interesting friends, and her stories are really interesting, and I feel very connected listening to her, and I like listening to what she has to say because she has she's just a very interesting person, and I love her. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, when you talk about love and romance, it's all gooey and romantic and caring and deeply emotional. And I do have these emotions, but really, I just like being around her presence because she's got something interesting to say. I mean, she's had to operate a machine. She's always been a barista for years, so she's got to operate an audience for a long time, doesn't she? She's got to sit there and talk to all these different people and entertain them. So she has this gift of communicating and entertaining, but delivering it with like a caring. She's caring. I think, and I think they're trying to tell my family that I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing all these years, like trying to make me kind of seem like I'm somebody I'm not. They're trying to make out that I'm a wolf, and they are the ones that got all the inheritance, all this money. They're the ones that took all of my family and friends and are hacking me and taking away my communication. I wasn't the wolf. I was an innocent girl that lost her life and kept getting chemically abused by monsters. And these Asians who were hiding under my bed and trapping and stealing all my friends and family and just totally abused me. And yeah, I'm just sad. And if if something happens to me, I do want my sister Marina to know she played a very big pivotal life in my healing journey to push me back into being with people again, and to getting back on the horse, and to letting go of people of my past, and to she has actually a great healing ability with her words as well, and she is has a lot of wisdom for a young girl. I think because she's had to have a lot of friends and all these things happen in her life, she has a lot of wisdom in her life, and she is um, a great cook. She's a really good cook, and she has you know what? I love dogs. So she's been a vet nurse. So she's got a lot of information about how to train up dogs too, and what they like, and a lot of information about pets. And when it comes to like even TV shows, she had a lot of like I because I at a time when I was just finding my own life and just being alone for 5 years, she always had these cool shows to watch on Netflix and things like this. No, she's a little gem to me. I love her to bits, and um, yeah, the things I love about Marina and Jodie, not Jodie, Marina and Karen is they're quite different people too. But the thing I like about them both is their smile. Yeah, they're both. I liked when we greet each other. It's very weird, eh? That things that you think about. But I love Karen because she looks like such a sensitive, doe-eyed kind of girl, and she kind of looks blank. If you look at her, like her eyes, it looks like there's nothing going on behind her eyes. It looks like she's just really like, kind of like sitting there like just thinking, I'm pretty, I'm pretty. Like if you look at her, like sometimes I look at her and I kind of think she just thinks she's just some doll and she doesn't have anything going on behind her eyes, but she isn't. Yeah, I like because when I'd turn up, she would just be like, "Hi, Jenny!" Like that's what I miss about saying Karen, and that actually when you get her talking, she's actually highly intelligent. She's got a lot to say, and same as Marina, I love when, like I'd always turn up and she'd be like, "Oh, hi, Jenny!" Like, I really miss seeing her. Like, it just means a lot. And, like, even like animals at the dog park, like, you see them and that's how they greet each other. They're like, one minute they're just walking around, and next minute they see each other and they're like, tails are wagging. They're like, "Yay, my mate! I can't wait to see my friend!" Like, yay! And that's what I miss. I miss like connections. I'm being totally abused and imprisoned because they want to keep me as some specimen. They've opened my asshole, my vagina. They're opening my brain up, everything. And I don't like it. I want to be around people I love. It's like they've erased a whole generation and just used and abused me. And I miss Jodie too. Jodie doesn't have this, "Hi, how are you?" Like, she doesn't have that energy behind it. Like, she is a bit like me, a little bit conservative and shy. And I feel like she's got a bit of sensitivity and kind of acts a bit aloof, and like she's cool and got it together, but I think she's quite a very soft-hearted kind of girl, and I like just sitting with my sister Jodie. I like talking to her. We talked about a lot of things, and I just miss being with her because she's kind of got my adventurous lust for life, not like Marina's more like a massive all these massive social groups, but me and Jodie, it was kind of like things like to do with hiking or biking, or Jodie, like I think she went skydiving, we went zip lining, things like this. Like, this is the kind of things I love to do, and I don't want to be confined in here. It's annoying. It's like my Chinese astrology, my I think my day master is a horse. I've got this itchy feet, like I need to go out and do something, but I don't feel motivated here because I don't have any friends or family or anything, and I don't have anyone to talk to. I don't like it, and I'm just being framed as this Maori and punished and put into a prison. So all these people in this government wanted to make money out of me, and the Maori party, and the like Steve and his family wanted to use me, I think, and then I've got this other family that want to use me. This American family and French, and then I've got this other family of, is it, they're American, is it? There's some American and these Australian bikie guys, and then then there's the Iranians, and you know, I do have, I did have a lot more stricter values, but because I've been beaten and beaten, I'm more modest and more, probably more humble. But I wasn't in any case like a super arrogant. I don't think I was. I don't. I mean, I had really strict rules, and I was on myself. And so maybe people used to get annoyed at me because I would be like, "Oi, don't act like this because of this, and I don't want you to do this." But it wasn't a case of arrogance. These are rules I got probably brought up with, and I put them on myself. But I'm a firm believer, like, I'm a firm believer of enjoying the fruits of your labor, like going to work and enjoying your spare time and going and traveling or going to saunas. And I've really lived my life. I've really enjoyed my life. Like, I had a lot of girl trips, and we would go and have these sauna spas together, or we'd be like sitting in the snow and these winter festivals, and they'd be having all these like they'd put like a ice skating rink in the middle of the city centre, and the temperature was below, like it was below, like I don't know, like 14 degrees or something like that. It was really cold. um and it was weird because we would be like going on these trips. I think at that time in Queenstown, capsicum for a salad was like $8 for one capsicum. It was crazy. um I don't know. I think I went on a helicopter, and I've been on like all these steamboats. I've been on heaps of work team building exercises. I don't know, there was always something going on. But my life became more private and quiet and into innocence in Auckland. Like, I went through this healing, and there was a sensitive side of me that was coming out, and they just bet the shit out of me and bet it to death. And it made me a snake all online for years. And I'm really innocent. I don't have this calculated, cunning background. I'm not a wolf in sheep's clothing. They're trying to make me somebody I'm not. And it's causing me, that's why I'm always alone now, because I can't connect to people. It's terrible that they want to make people that have like friends that are in the CIA and friends that are in police station look like they're so innocent in the public eye, and they want me to look like the dark energy and the evil one. And it's like, but where? Like, prove it in a massive brain test that I've got a malicious backbone, because I'm pretty sure I don't. I'm pretty sure I've had, and that's, over my life, my tip to find a man is to find one that's had a sister or had sisters, so they know how to treat women. And also to get a job, to basically tell them you'll work for free, offer your services for free, and if you want to get your foot in the door. And the other tip I would have is just to not spend your money. Don't waste your money. Like, don't waste it. Like, I would be putting it away. I always save my money, but I can't. I've got identity theft. That's why I want to kill myself. It's too hard. They're just fucking my life left, right, and centre. They won't let me have any freedom. They won't let me go to work. They've taken control of my bank accounts, my reputation, the way I look, my house, everything. They're really abusing me, and I don't want to live like that. My mum was too liberal. And I don't want anyone to punish her that I wasn't a disciplined person, because I was. Why have I got all those certificates? She did something right. I've got two sisters that are doing well in life, and there was nothing wrong with me. I had a disability, and they came after me to take everything off me. I was a victim of slavery and people that wanted something, and tomorrow is not promised anymore. And so I can't go out and be like full of happiness and all these things, because I'm being kept in poverty and confinement from institutional abuse. Plus, they've erased me from the culture. So what do I have left? They've left me with nothing. I don't know what to do. All I've got in my heart is my memories of people I really love, like my sister, And that's all I want to do. If I had to pass, I want them to know that I really genuinely love them. Um, and there's people like my exes are all persecuting me, and there's reasons like for knowing people, like I'm pretty sure like I don't know. I've just had a very long life, and I do have a lot of wisdom. I had to learn a lot through all my spiritual awakening and the shedding of the darkness of my past. And it's not about pretending you're somebody else and that you're fake. It's about um, you've come into a new reality, and your past is shedding because it does not hold any value in your new reality. It cannot function or serve you anymore. It was there to serve a season for either learning, to protect you, or to hurt you, to make you understand something. So, and that's what I learned about friends. They're either here for a season or forever. And a lot of that's I miss being around human companionship. That's what I loved. Marina really taught me that I've got to keep connected to people, because when I got hurt, I will retreat and I get really too much into my own problem. And she pushed me to keep being social. And I don't know. It's not just that. She's my little sister. So she annoyed me growing up, and I didn't accept her very well because I was too close to her. I think she was 8, and I was. Is there 8 years between me and her, or 4? I think there's. I think there's 8 years between us, but I was not happy when she arrived because of my just being a kid, and I wanted my mum's attention, I think. And if she's internalized that, it's just, it was just nothing to do with her personally. It's to do with my age, that I wanted my mum to myself, I think, and I didn't want to share. And she used to always ruin all my stuff as a kid, and my mum would blame me for everything. Like, she became the child that got away with murder. Like, I was always being punished and always being disciplined, and she was always getting this free run, and she was always getting to entertain people and not have to be punished for anything, and I was always being punished. And that's why I kind of got a resentful of her, because I was always picking up after her kid. But when Jodie came, I really loved her, and yeah. So I don't. It's no, like, that time in my life was annoying for me to have Marina around. But as I grow up, and because her father was a real asshole to me, her father used to really like. It's like he got my mum pregnant and then kind of kept kicking me and pushing me out and making me feel bad. And it's like, at this stage, like, I put up with a lot of abuse from this Mark guy. Like, he really, and then he started abusing Marina, and she put him in his place, and he healed it and said sorry. Because I think he's an Aries, and they're very selfish people. They don't think about other people, they think about themselves all the time. And then when he realized he had been hurting her, he changed his ways. And maybe he'll change his ways with me. He's been a real fucking asshole to me growing up. Like, he had Marina instead of to make me feel like an outsider of my own family, instead of try and push me out of my family. And this is what I've had for years. And now I've got this Kiki and Poppy trying to kick me out of my own family, and Brendan. And it's like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, that's my family. Like, I've had to put up with a lot of shit over the years. And it's like, you want to sever the ties with everybody. You don't want me to have anybody. And it's like, I've had enough of this. It's like this massive jealousy about love and me not allowed anybody to care for me. And these are people, my sisters mean a lot to me as we've grown up. And it's like, eventually in the end, when I got older, I loved Marina to bits. But because of my age and the things that happened, and her father used to always put her on a pedestal, and he used to like really punish me, and he used to kind of like be really, really nasty to me. as a kid, and that's why I didn't like him. And in the end, when my mum left him, because she noticed he was mean to me, and she stood up for me, and she said, "Don't you treat my children different? Like, she is my child as well," type thing. And he ended up crying and taking me out and saying, "I want the benefit of the doubt," but I didn't have any feelings for him. And I said, "Well, you've done it now." Well, I think I was like 12 or something, and he cried to me and he was like, "I don't want your mother to leave me. Can you give me the benefit of the doubt of, I'm sorry for hurting you like this?" And I just said, "Well, you've done it now." Like, he'd already hurt me so severely, like, made me feel like only Marina should be loved in that family. Like, he really put me through hell about it because that's his blood daughter. And I just got abused and abused out of that situation until mum put him in line, and she'd had enough of his shit because he was such a selfish prick. And so he broke down and he was felt really sorry. And I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, these people have these big houses and all this, and my mum also used to stand on an empire and be richer and more popular and have a lot more power. But at the end of the day, it's like he's now that he's in this position that he could have helped me, he didn't, and he is just. I mean, I don't need anyone else looking down on me, and it's tough because it's tough for me because I've actually watched my mum help a lot of people, and I feel like we deserve good karma. We don't deserve all this abuse. Like, I don't deserve all this abuse. Like, and then they're teaching my mum to abuse me, which breaks my heart. It's just kind of like, why are they taking me away from people I actually genuinely really cared about and I need? Because it's a part of they're a part of my soul tie. So Karen, like you, like me and Karen have a lot in common. And Darren tells used to be my. I used to feel very protective over him, like my own boy, because he tells me a lot because he doesn't, his family are Chinese, they don't open up. So he used to tell me a lot, and I used to feel very, um, I used to always just try and nurture him and give him comfort and kindness and have fun with him because, his family are not able to talk, and it's made him suffer internally, and he's also suffered a lot in his life already, and he's a deeply intuitive person that is very, very wise and very, very intelligent. He's highly intelligent and sensitive young man. He's amazing, actually, and I want you to know that, Darren. If something happens to me, I really, genuinely, really believe you're a very amazing young man with a great head on your shoulders, and I'm so proud of you as a human being. And I'm proud because Mark also made me feel like that, and I can see his family always favor Karen and leave him out, and I don't see anything better about Karen apart from she dresses and acts like she's part of that kind of group of people that are really rich. But Darren, as a very, I'm very proud of you, Darren. I'm very proud of your heart and your genuine care. And I know these people are making me somebody else in the public, but John making me some arsehole online and abusing me. But at the end of the day, you, before all of this happened, when life was innocent, I really, really genuinely care about you as a person, and I really am so proud that you've actually moved and grown so much in your life, like from since I've known you, since you started expressing the sadness from the children's services coming to get you, from being kind of left out of your family, from being framed for a crime you didn't do, and from the the loss of a girlfriend that you really thought was going to be long term, and to being somebody just really going after your goals and dreams and very much working on your life. I'm really proud of you as a person, and I just hope that life doesn't keep you hardened, because I know there's a beautiful heart in you. I've seen it, and am very I just can't express how much sadness I have about the situation, but I was an honourable person. I want you to know that. I just have been abused. And they didn't have the right to take that from me. It's greed. But you have definitely been, um, You have amazed me. I think some of the things that you've talked to me about when I've had to talk to you about some things, you gave me insight about your understanding of human nature, and it really, I'm was really proud of you that you're actually you're really highly intelligent, and that's the thing. It's like on the outside, people maybe think that Karen's highly intelligent and got it together and this and that, but actually Darren's very intelligent, and he's like me. He's very intelligent intellectually, but he's also done a lot. He's lived in both worlds. He's worked in the blue collar and the white collar. He's both. And like Karen's pretty much a white collar girl. She's never had anything like, and never had to kind of like really suffer when it comes to like hardship at home. Like they've pampered her. But I mean, yeah, I'm really sad about this. I think they're the closest is Marina and Jody and Darren. I'm really quite sad about. I am sad about Karen, but she's, she's getting, she's she's disconnected from the Karen I know. The Karen I know that had was the young girl. She's the cute little girl that lights up. She's got all this mind barrier against me now because she thinks I'm toxic and I'm bad in the communities and I'm hated from all these people. So it's made her think negatively of me, and it's sad because it's creating a barrier to our hearts. And if I really believe I've really got a connection with her because of some of the suffering we both went through and when we talked. But the respect's gone because Japan wanted to erase that for me, and I just feel like you didn't have any right to do that. That's my family, and it's a long history of watering our connections and love that you have just erased out of just jealousy and hatred, and to take over everything that I've ever built by just making some entitled judgment over me that I don't deserve these things when I do. She's, it's not even that. It's like God must have put us together because of the same sort of bullying that we've experienced, in the same sort of like, and she's also a lot like me. She's very, very, back before all this abuse, I was a very timid person, but she's like me. I've watched her. She's very timid, and then out of the blue, she'll be a monster because she's highly intelligent. And out of the blue, it's like if she's been pushed and pushed so far, out of the blue, that monster comes out, and all this intelligence and like putting people in their place. I've seen it. I've hardly seen it, but it's happened twice. She's still young, but at the end, she's probably going to be quite a, she's got a secret power under all that docile face of hers. Um, yeah, they're the people that I'm really sad about. I'm sad, and I appreciate Leanne, their mother. She shows love the same way I show love, and I felt loved by her, and they've erased that, and I'm sad. She dotes on, she, like how I show love is just like her, like doting around somebody, pampering them with food and putting time and energy into them, and having time to talk and like helping them with their chores or going out to do something with them. That's what I do, and I very much connected to her, and I'm really sad about it. I'm sad of talking into a phone because I've got no one to talk to, because I'm being hijacked by these traffickers and these kids that want to take everything from me. They just have all decided it's their God given right to have all the love in the world and to stop me from being honourable. And I'm asking for my right to die. I've given enough in this life and I'm tired. I mean, I worked hard on my intellectual abilities too, and I'm shocked because I'm not an arrogant person, and they're trying to make out I'm arrogant and a dark person. I think Ruben had framed me for all this stuff to make me pay all this stuff that I don't owe. He's framed me for being a real asshole and I'm innocent, and then they framed me for all this other stuff, and just him and his girlfriend framed me for everything. And I was a really innocent person. And then I've lost all my friends and family. I've lost my future. I've lost, it's not okay. Like, it's actually damaged me psychologically and emotionally. Like, I've lost people that were like my brothers, like Sam. it's totally erased because the last time I called him, he was really angry at me. And he's not like that. He's never been like that. So this is absolutely terrible what they've done to me because I had nothing but love in my heart for all these different people. And all these people are full of rage and hatred towards me and discrimination and all this stuff. And it's like, what have they done to Sam? Sam's like a Buddhist. She must have really worked on his brain for a long time about who I am. They must have harassed me daily in my room and created all this racist. He hates that I don't have a schedule, but it's like the ignorance is I don't have a phone because they've taken my rights to my phone away. So that's what I hate. I hate that someone like Sam, who is such a Buddhist, hates me, and we had a genuine, loving, flowing connection. I don't mean love like we weren't kissing, we weren't in love, we weren't together or anything like that. It was just my friend at that time. But it was a genuine understanding because he's a little bit similar looking to Darren, and he's a little bit similar to my family in a way, in some sort of way. I felt a kinship. I felt a kinship with him, and it's sad that he is just full of hatred. That's when you know you're persecuted because all these people are just spitting hate at you, and I'm innocent. I don't even know why I'm so hated. What, nobody tells me why he hates me so much. Why would he hate me so much? And I know they're bullying me online that I was a joke about love for years and years, and it's like these people, his ex-girlfriends and girlfriends, are using me to be really famous in society, and I just got scapegoated for the whole lot. I want to tell you, my face just got disfigured. They made me hated all over the country. I went to my mum. I started a new life. They took all my connections in Australia and scapegoated me here for trying to get a job, and have just been abusing me. I've been under immense abuse for years, and I've had enough of it. I want somebody to give me the right to die because I don't even get a right to speak. I don't even get a right to my own voice. I don't get a right to my own. This has never been equal. It's tyranny. They just took my life years ago, put me online, blamed me. Everyone hated me, and I never got any sympathy for my face disfigured. You're leaving me at the mercy of these monsters that are abusing and mutilating me, and they're taking away all of the love and the energy and the care. I want my right to die. Because what have I got left? Those people mean everything to me, and I don't want to keep rebuilding because all I do is build for my landlord to get rich, and build for this black dragon to get rich, and build for like this Joker to get rich, and John, and I'm not going to do it anymore. It's not fair. My face and these chemicals again and again have been disfiguring me. My health is something psychologically wrong with me. Like, I am very weird about my food and my house and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's my OCD. And because my house ruined, it's making me just want to have a pie every day because I just feel like my life's ruined, my house ruined. What's the point of going on? And you're just putting me in shit. I'm not getting my rights. And it's like, for years and years, you just made me a trolled person, that I'm a snake, and I was totally innocent. My face got ruined. So I've just been scapegoated for so many years without any mercy. And I'm saying I am asking for mercy. I'm asking to not be somebody's punching bag. I'm asking to not be kept underground as an animal. I don't want to be beaten up anymore. Why did I deserve that? I've done nothing but give love, energy, and compassion to people that needed it. I've just been dragged around like a piece of shit for years and abused and put online and used, abused politically, hung and capital punished, like, again, like probably three times now. And I don't, we shouldn't be treated like that. I have a right to be free from torture.